Welcome back to the podcast. This is Nadia Mills. I'm a pelvic floor and lymphedema physical therapist. And for the last couple of podcasts, we've been discussing several items or things that can cause pelvic floor weakness. So we are now onto a very interesting one, and I think, again, a very essential one, talking all about our posture. Yes, the way that we move our bodies, the way that we lift, the way we stand, the way we sit, the way we breathe, all affects our pelvic floor and can cause some weakness. So thanks for joining in this episode, and let's check it out. So we skip from potty mechanics to actual body mechanics. So third on our list of reasons that cause pelvic floor weakness is poor body mechanics. One of the major issues that we have as a human race right now is terrible posture, mostly because we're sitting 8 hours a day. We are bent forward. We are on our cell phones. We are on our computers. Our whole entire body, our back is being curved forward, our tailbones are being tucked under, and we're really losing the curvature of our spine. Also, even if we're standing, a lot of times we stand unevenly. We don't distribute the weight on both legs. You might be standing with one hip cocked over to the side, and these things cause asymmetry in the muscles. It causes the muscles to be imbalanced. And if you don't have good balance, if you don't have good symmetry side to side, it can cause weakness and also tightness. So you can have tightness on one side, weakness on another, because you use those muscles far less because of the way you stand or the way you move, or even sometimes the way we walk. So it's really important for us to pay attention to our body mechanics and for us to have good head posture, because that's the other thing. If we have our head posture out of alignment, it puts our entire spine and our pelvis out of alignment. So it goes back again to the pelvic floor being connected to everything from the tailbone all the way to the head. And so we need to work on good posture in order to have our pelvic floor to function properly and to be balanced. All right, we're still talking about body mechanics. So not only should we be concerned about posture, but also how we use our body. And one of the things that a lot of people have trouble with is lifting. And that is one of the major causes of back pain, which incidentally, back pain and back injury can lead to pelvic floor weakness. And so the way we lift is very important that we pay attention to it. So a lot of times you ask somebody, how are you supposed to lift? And everybody knows, lift with your legs, not with your back. But then when you see them lift, it's all back. It's no legs. So lift with your legs, not with your back, means your knees actually have to bend. It means that your legs have to carry the weight rather than hinging at your back. And so we have a lot of back pain and a lot of back injuries because of this poor lifting technique. And poor lifting technique and back injuries can lead into poor pelvic floor function and also pelvic floor weakness. We're back to breathing again. So breathing is actually part of your body mechanics. So as I mentioned before, as adults, for some reason, we have forgotten how to take really nice deep breaths. It has a lot to do with our posture. So again, everything is related. And also our state of alertness, anxiousness, awareness, mindfulness. And so if we are not taking nice deep breaths, we are not allowing expansion through our core. We are not allowing pelvic floor relaxation. Your breath is not only a mechanical component of your health and your pelvic floor function, it also is a trigger for your nervous system. The way we breathe tells our brains whether we're good or if we're in danger. So for example, you know what? Do this right now. Take a nice deep breath, breathing through your nose, blow out through your mouth, and just see how that makes you feel. Deep breaths relax your body and your mind. That's why when you're doing things like yoga and meditation, they tell you about this deep belly breathing, because it calms your nervous system. It relaxes your muscles. If, on the other hand, if you're a fan of horror movies or anything, that's scary, one of the things that I'm laughing, but it's not funny. Like one of the things, like if somebody's being chased or something, one of the reasons they get caught is because of how they're breathing. Like you're in a corner and you're, and the next thing you know, the killer comes around the corner. Ha! But all I'm saying is that rapid, shallow breathing, that's what happens when you're in an anxious state. And the type of breathing triggers that response in your brain. So shallow breathing actually causes a deprivation of oxygen. So it doesn't really generate as much oxygen to your brain as a nice deep breath would. And that puts your brain on alert. Oxygen is necessary for life. And so when you send that trigger that, you're having that shallow breath, it puts a lot of changes chemically and in your nervous system that prepares you for what we call fight or flight. And so that shallow breathing is one of those triggers that sets in your fight or flight response. And when you turn into fight or flight response, it's either you're going to run away from something that's dangerous or you're going to defend yourself against something dangerous. And so deep breathing promotes relaxation. Shallow breathing promotes fight or flight, or that anxiousness or that alertness. And so the type of breathing that we do, like I said, affects the pelvic floor. And because we tend to be shallow breathers, we tend to have tight pelvic floors because deep breaths actually helps us to relax our pelvic floor. So those are all things that are related to body mechanics that can lead to weakness. So also I'm saying sometimes weakness, sometimes I'm saying tightness. In general, a lot of times weakness and tightness come together. If your body has an area where it's weak, it will tend to tighten up the muscles and the joints in that area in order to gain stability. And your pelvic floor is a part of your core, and so stability is one of the main things that it tries to accomplish. And so if it's not strong enough, one of the things that it will do is tighten up so that it can help to produce that stability that your body needs. Like I said, these are things that we have in our everyday life and we may not even notice, but I wanted to spend some time sharing this with you so you can really understand the significance of how your daily activities affect your pelvic floor mechanics. So our posture, standing posture, sitting posture, distributing the weight of our legs evenly, all of those things cause tension in our body. And your pelvic floor is a part of your core, which is all about stabilizing you. And so if you have tension that is not even, that can lead into some pelvic floor weakness. Also with body mechanics, poor lifting. Like I said, a lot of times back pain. We just know that everybody has at some point had some back pain, and a lot of us have a poor way of doing lifting. And so poor lifting techniques can lead to back pain and also pelvic floor pain and pelvic floor dysfunction and weakness. And then lastly, we talked about breathing. Shallow breathing causes tension in our body. It causes anxiety. It puts us into the fight or flight response, whereas deep breathing, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, causes relaxation throughout our body and throughout our pelvic floor. So depending on how we breathe, we can cause tension and weakness in our pelvic floor. So I'm going to wrap that, and I'm going to do another podcast to continue with these very important things. I do free consultations if you have a personal question or if you have just a more general question that you need more information for. So it's been my pleasure to take you on this journey. Part 2 of, 8 reasons why pelvic floor muscles get weak.